Hello. So today I will be doing vlog number 3, and this vlog will be pertaining to our online discussion as well as RA Chapter 11, which is Understanding Evaluation. So the main point that I feel like Chapter 11 was centralized on were the standards for evaluation. And there are 4 standards for evaluation. So the first standard for evaluation is the artistic standard, and it focuses on the ways in which rhetoric is poetic. And when I think of aesthetics, I think of like the way something appears to be. So I guess in the way of like I viewing rhetoric as poetic, they're talking about the diction, the types of sentences, and how well it is written. And when I also think of aesthetics, I think about something from the outside. So, I feel like they're talking about how rhetoric is attractive, not necessarily mentioning the depth, but just how creative the rhetorical act is and how the writer gives their message in an artistic and skillful way. And then the second standard for evaluation is the response standard. It states that the response standard is the evaluation of a rhetorical act in terms of effectiveness and reflects the demand that rhetoric be pragmatic. So I feel like the response standard is how it's the effect that the rhetorical act has on the audience, and it states here that every rhetorical act must communicate, which is send the message effectively, induce participation from the audience, which is another way of saying that the audience must be engaged and involved, as well as affect the perceptions, beliefs, and attitudes of the viewer. That means that the rhetorical act has a purpose, and that purpose is to change the way the reader is thinking. Next is the accuracy standard, and it states that it measures the similarity between the reality presented in the rhetorical act and reality as presented in other sources. So I feel like the accuracy standard kind of pertains to when we were discussing, like when you discuss news and current events, you want to take different pieces and you want to take different bits of information from different sources to make sure that the information that you're reading is accurate, because odds are if you're seeing the same information repeated in a bunch of different ways, you can safely assume that that's correct information. So that's exactly what the accuracy standard is. Next is the morale standard, which is essentially the power of rhetoric. So I think the moral standard relates directly to the response standard, but I feel like the moral standard is more in depth. It's kind of like the takeaway that the audience is getting from the entire work, and it's kind of what they're going to carry onto their life, and how you affected the audience emotionally. The next thing that we worked on was ways of how we get our information on papers. And in the discussion, I decided to think about back to my academic success course that I took, and we were always told to strictly use the SJSU library as our main source because everything there is, for the most part, peer-reviewed and very trustworthy. Not only are they peer-reviewed and trustworthy, but it also has a bunch of various types of medias available. There's not only limited to articles, there's excerpts from books that might be relevant, Or also there's other SJSU students' papers that are uploaded there as well for you to use. So basically, yeah, today was pretty much just Rhetorical Act, Chapter 11, which I thought was pretty straightforward with the 4 standards of evaluation. And in the online discussion, we just talked about ways that we can access good quality information. Thank you.